What if the most valuable stone you will ever find does not look valuable at all? What if it looks like something you would normally ignore, something you would kick aside, or walk past without even thinking? Because that happens every day. People walk over rocks, they step on them, they toss them aside, they assume they are all the same, but they are not. And hidden among those ordinary stones, there are rare ones, valuable ones, the kind that can completely change how you see the ground beneath your feet. But here is the problem. Most people are not trained to see them. They look for shine, they look for beauty, they look for something obvious, and that is exactly why they miss them. Today we explore the top signs that a rock may be valuable, but one of these signs is often misunderstood, and once you understand it, you may start looking at every rock differently. Let's begin. Sign 1. It feels heavier than it should. Pick up a rock. Feel its weight. Now imagine another rock of the same size, but this one feels heavier, not just slightly, but noticeably. That difference matters, because weight can tell you something important. Some of the most valuable minerals are dense, much denser than common stones. That means they pack more mass into the same space. So when you hold them, they feel different, almost unexpected. This is one of the simplest signs and one of the easiest to test. No tools needed, just your hand. But here is where people make a mistake. They expect all heavy rocks to be valuable. That is not true. Some common rocks are also heavy, so weight alone is not enough. But it is a signal, a starting point, a reason to take a closer look. Because when something feels off, it often is. But weight is only the beginning, because some valuable stones are not just heavy, they also interact with light in unusual ways. Sign 2. It reflects light in a strange way. Most ordinary rocks do not do much with light. They look flat, dull, matte. But some rocks, even when they look rough, react to light differently. You may notice small flashes, tiny reflections, subtle sparkle, not like polished jewelry, but something quieter, something hidden. This can come from the internal structure of the stone, from the way it formed under pressure, from how it interacts with light. Sometimes you will only see it when you move the rock. Tilt it, turn it slowly, and suddenly a small flash appears, then disappears. This is important because many valuable stones do not shine constantly. They reveal themselves only under certain angles, and most people never check. They glance once, then move on. But that quick glance is not enough, because some stones require patience, and patience reveals details others miss. But light is only one clue, because sometimes the surface tells an even deeper story. Sign 3. The surface looks unusual. Look closely at the surface, not quickly, slowly, carefully. Does it look like every other rock around it? Or does something feel different? Maybe the texture is unusual. Maybe the patterns look strange. Maybe there are lines, cracks, or shapes that do not look random. Many valuable stones form under specific conditions: high pressure, high temperature, unique environments. And those conditions leave marks, clues, patterns that tell a story. Sometimes the surface looks waxy, sometimes glassy, sometimes almost metallic, and sometimes it looks broken, but in a very specific way. Clean breaks, sharp edges, not rough and random. These details matter because nature does not create everything the same way, and when something looks different, there is usually a reason. But here is where people make another mistake. They look for perfection, smoothness, beauty, but valuable rocks are often imperfect, rough, unfinished, because they have not been shaped yet, and that is what makes them easy to miss. But surface alone is not enough, because sometimes the real difference is inside. Sign 4. It has a unique color, but not always bright. Color is one of the first things people notice, and also one of the most misleading. Because people expect valuable stones to be bright, vivid, colorful. But many valuable stones are not. Some are dark, some are pale, some look almost ordinary, but their color still holds clues. Maybe it is slightly different from the surrounding rocks. Maybe it has depth, layers, subtle variations, not flat, not uniform. Sometimes the color changes slightly under different light. Sometimes it reveals hidden tones when wet. These small differences matter because they show that the stone is not simple. It has complexity, structure, history. But color alone can also deceive. Some common rocks look beautiful, bright, attractive, but not valuable. So color is a clue, not a conclusion. But when color combines with other signs, the picture becomes clearer. And that leads to something even more important. Sign 5. It does not break like normal rock. Take a close look at how a rock breaks. Most ordinary rocks break in rough, uneven ways. Jagged, random, messy. But some valuable stones break differently. They may have smooth surfaces, curved shapes, clean edges, almost like glass. This is called a specific type of fracture, and it is a strong clue because it tells you about the internal structure, how the atoms are arranged, how the material responds to pressure. Some stones break in predictable ways, others do not, and those differences matter because structure determines strength, and strength often connects to value. But here is something important. You do not need to break a rock to see this. Sometimes small natural chips already show it. Edges, corners, tiny fractures. Look closely, they reveal more than you think. But even structure is not the full story, because some of the most valuable clues come from how rare something is. Sign 6. It looks out of place. Imagine walking along a river or a trail. You see many rocks, similar colors, similar shapes, similar textures, and then suddenly, one rock looks different. Not dramatically, but enough to notice. Maybe it is darker, or smoother, or shaped differently. That difference matters because geology is not random. Certain areas produce certain types of rocks. So when something appears that does not match, it may have come from somewhere else, or formed under different conditions. And that makes it interesting. Valuable stones often stand out in subtle ways. Not obvious, but noticeable, if you are paying attention. But most people are not. They see many rocks and assume they are all the same, but they are not. And the one that looks slightly different may be the one worth examining. But there is something even more powerful than appearance, something you can test, something simple, and that changes everything. Sign 7. It resists scratching. Hardness matters. Some rocks scratch easily, others do not. This is one of the most important tests because valuable stones are often harder than common materials. You can test this in simple ways. Try scratching it lightly with another object. Observe what happens. Does it mark easily, or does it resist? Does it scratch other surfaces instead? This tells you something critical, because hardness is linked to durability, and durability is linked to value. But again, this is not a final answer. It is a clue, a piece of a larger puzzle. Because no single sign confirms value, it is always a combination, a pattern, and when enough signs come together, something becomes clear. But there is still one deeper layer, one that most people never consider, because it is not just about the rock, it is about the way you look at it. Sign 8. It has layers or internal patterns. Some rocks look simple on the outside, but inside, they tell a different story. You might notice faint lines, bands, color changes, or subtle patterns that do not look random. These are not just marks, they are records. They show how the rock formed over time, layer by layer, pressure by pressure, temperature changes, mineral deposits, all leaving their trace. And when those patterns appear, It means something complex happened during formation, and complexity often connects to rarity. Some of the most interesting stones form slowly, over long periods, under very specific conditions. So when you see internal patterns, it is a sign worth paying attention to. But here is the mistake many people make. They expect patterns to be obvious, clear, easy to see, but often they are subtle, hidden. You may need to tilt the rock, change the light, look from different angles, and then suddenly you notice something you missed before. But patterns are only one part, because sometimes what surrounds the rock matters just as much. Sign 9, it comes from the right environment. Where you find a rock matters a lot, because certain environments produce certain types of minerals. Rivers, mountains, volcanic areas, dry deserts. Each one tells a different story. For example, rivers often carry stones from far away. They smooth them over time. They mix different materials together. So if you find a strange rock in a river, it may not have formed there. It may have traveled, and that makes it interesting. Trails in mountains are different. Rocks there are often closer to their source, less moved, more connected to the geology of the area. And that means if you understand the environment, you can make better guesses. Because valuable stones are not random, they form in specific conditions: high pressure, heat, chemical changes. So when you are in the right place, your chances increase. But here is the deeper idea. Even in the right place, most people still miss them because they are not looking for the right signs. And that brings us to something very subtle. Sign 10. It feels smooth in a natural way. Not polished, not shaped by tools, but naturally smooth. Some rocks feel different when you touch them, almost soft, even when they are hard. They do not feel rough like broken stone. They feel worn, balanced, refined by nature. This often happens in water, where stones roll, collide, slowly smooth out over time. But sometimes, that smoothness reveals something else. A strong internal structure, a resistance to breaking apart. Because weaker rocks break down, they turn into sand, dust. But stronger ones survive. They stay whole. And over time, they become smoother, more refined. So when a rock feels naturally smooth, without being polished, it may be telling you something. But touch alone is not enough, because some of the most important clues come from something even simpler, something people ignore every day. Sign 11. It sounds different. This is one of the most overlooked signs, and one of the most interesting. Take two rocks, tap them together. Listen. Most rocks make dull sounds, flat, soft, but some rocks sound different, sharper, clearer, almost like a small click or a light ring. This happens because of density, structure, composition, the way the material vibrates. It may seem small, but it is a clue, a signal. And when combined with other signs, it becomes more powerful. Because again, no single sign confirms value, but patterns do. And patterns reveal truth. But there is something even deeper, something that changes everything. Sign 12. It does not absorb water easily. Take a drop of water, place it on the rock, watch what happens. Some rocks absorb it quickly. They darken, they soak it in. Others do not. The water stays on the surface, almost like it cannot enter. This tells you something about the structure. Porous versus non-porous, loose versus compact. Stronger materials tend to resist absorption, and many valuable stones fall into that category because they are tightly structured, dense, stable. But again, this is not a final answer. It is another piece, another layer, another clue. And when you combine all of these, something begins to form. A picture, a pattern, a way of seeing. But the most important sign is not physical, it is mental. The final sign, You stop seeing rocks the same way. At some point, something shifts. You stop walking past rocks. You start noticing them. You start comparing, observing, questioning. You pick them up. You turn them. You test them. And suddenly, the ground is not just ground anymore. It becomes a field of possibilities. Because value was always there, hidden, quiet, unnoticed. And the difference was never the rock. It was the attention, the awareness, the willingness to look deeper. Because once you understand these signs, you cannot unsee them. And every place becomes different. Rivers feel different. Trails feel different. Even ordinary ground feels different. Because now you know something most people do not. And that knowledge changes everything. But here is the part that most people never think about. How many valuable stones have already been missed? How many were picked up, then dropped because they did not look special? How many were ignored because they were not shiny? How many were left behind because someone did not take a second look? Because the truth is, they are still out there, right now, somewhere, waiting, not to be found, but to be recognized. And the next rock you see, the one that looks ordinary, the one that feels just slightly different, the one that catches your attention for no clear reason, might not be just another rock. Because once you start looking this way, you realize something important. The difference between ordinary and valuable is not always obvious, and the next discovery may already be in front of you, just waiting for you to notice.